I think the media makes it sound as though you are just always going right to your personal preference. So if they think you're anti-abortion or something personally, they think that that's the way you always will come out. They think you're for this or for that. They think you become like a politician. And I think that's a problem I think you're gonna jeopardize any faith in the legal institutions.
Well, we think that because it's true. With the Supreme Court's approval rating at a new low, Justice Clarence Thomas last fall defended the court against the growing criticism that it has become too politicized. And that is pretty rich, coming from Thomas, who, unlike any other justice, is married to someone so politically active on the far right. She might as well wear a Tea Party tricorner hat or become a QAnon YouTuber, a Q-tuber, as they like to call themselves. Most people never heard of Ginny Thomas until 2010, when she left a bizarre, hostile voice message for Anita Hill, the woman who testified, credibly, during Clarence Thomas's confirmation hearings about Thomas allegedly sexually harassing her when she worked for him at a government agency. Since then, Ginny Thomas has been a vocal right-wing activist involved with the Tea Party movement and its public campaigns against the Affordable Care Act, which most famously came before the Supreme Court. Today, she's involved with several groups who have cases being heard by the court. And as the New Yorker's Jane Mayer points out in a pretty epic article, the court appears likely to secure victories for her allies in a number of highly polarizing cases on abortion, on affirmative action, and gun rights. Throughout it all, Justice Thomas has remained on the bench, involved in the opinions in each of these cases. Join me now, Elie Mystal, Justice Correspondent for The Nation. Elie, my friend, let me just read, you already know it, but I'm going to read it for the audience. This is the Judges Code, the U.S. Judges Code of Conduct. It says a judge shall disqualify himself or herself in a proceeding in which the judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned, including but not limited to instances in which the judge or the judge's spouse is known by the judge to have an interest that can be substantially affected by the outcome of the proceeding. Why are Supreme Court justices, unlike every other federal judge, not subject to that code of conduct?
Yeah, that piece of legislation that you just read, does not apply to the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the only court in the country that operates under no ethics rules, because according to the Supreme Court, only it can punish itself. It is a bizarre loophole, you could argue, in our Constitution. The only way to discipline a Supreme Court justice, if not self-disciplined by, their buddies on the court, is through the process of impeachment, which, for reasons passing my understanding, we have not used against a Supreme Court justice since 1804, I believe. So, that's the baseline here, right? The Supreme Court is not subject to any ethics rules. The unethical or questionably ethical or highly inappropriate behavior that Jane Mayer expertly, and honestly, if you haven't read the article, Mayer talks like she has been following this couple for 30 years. It's an amazing article. But Ginny Thomas has been a problem for 30 years. And the problem is not, this is important to say, because I don't want people to get it twisted. I would never come on your show and criticize a spouse of an important person for continuing to have a job. That the spouses should still have a job no matter how important their spouse is. The problem is not that Ginny Thomas has a job. The problem is that Ginny Thomas is a crazy right-wing reactionary who pins literal medals on people before they show up in Clarence Thomas's courtroom. The moral turpitude here, therefore, is not really Ginny Thomas, it is Clarence Thomas for lacking the moral character to recuse himself from situations where his wife has not only already taken a position, but already literally put her imprimatur of respectability on litigants in his courtroom. It is Clarence Thomas who is letting the entire country down, more so than his wife's desire to be a right-wing crazy person.
And the thing is, if you haven't read the article, we're talking about, she does these, her organizations have these ceremonies where they honor people they think are defending liberty. And the people she's associated with through these various organizations include Ali Alexander, one of the guys who bragged that he was behind the so-called Stop the Steal movement, along with 3 congressmen who he named. People who have come before her on radical sort of ideas like the Muslim ban. That's her person. Next thing you know, that's in front of the Supreme Court. She is actually involved in several of these things. She signed a letter. This is one of the things she did. She signed a letter from a conservative group to Kevin McCarthy saying that Liz Cheney and Kinzinger should be kicked off the House GOP conference. Miraculously, that decision to not block the release of Trump's documents, her husband is the one guy who votes no. Everyone else votes yes, and yeah, release the documents. She's involved with the January 6th people. I don't even know how this is legal.
Like, that's like, you can't make this make sense. Way back on Wednesday of this week, the Supreme Court ordered the Trump administration to release the documents requested by the January 6th committee. The only justice dissenting was Clarence Thomas. Now, maybe he dissented because Clarence Thomas's entire brand is to be wrong all the time. There is that possibility. But the appearance here is that the reason why he dissented is because his wife, Jenny Thomas, is all up in January 6th. She posted on Facebook encouraging those people on January 6th on their special Clarence Thomas clerk listserv that they have. She's been in the listservs, like, you know, pushing January 6th conspiracy theories. She and John Eastman, who also is under investigation, are on the same side on that listserv against like other kind of normal Thomas clerks who are just like, whoa, the whole insurrection thing, I don't know, man. Like, that is what she's doing. So when Thomas is the lone dissenter on these issues where his wife literally may be implicated in a plot to overthrow the government, and the man doesn't recuse, like, make that make sense. You can't make that make sense. And so the other person that really deserves some blame here, and I know like a lot of Democrats don't like me to say this, but the other person who deserves some blame here is John Roberts, the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court. He could also be in a position to censure or punish Clarence Thomas for his refusal, again, to do the baseline moral character thing and recuse himself from situations where his wife, in this case, might be literally implicated.
But he's not going to do that, Elie, because remember, he was a stalwart anti-Voting Rights Act lawyer in the Reagan administration. Now, he didn't recuse himself before he gutted the Voting Rights Act that he's been opposing since he was a young lawyer. So I don't expect him to do the right thing. And by the way, one other piece of note in this article, even Donald Trump called Jenny Thomas a wacko. That's not me saying that. Donald Trump said she was a wacko. Let me throw up your book here. If y'all want more Elie, let's put this, come back on the camera for me, please. Here it is. This is called Allow Me to Retort. Here it is, A Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution. This is Elie Mystal's book. I'm excited about it. Y'all, if y'all can't get enough Elie, get this here before somebody tries to ban it in Florida. They're going to try to ban this in Florida, so get it now while you can. Elie Mystal, thank you very much.